Hello again. It's your friendly auction house. And look what I am auctioning off right now. I believe there are 70 books here. It is probably one of the largest collections of books on the assassination of JFK that I have ever seen. And let's just start off with this one. It's The Killing of a President, and it is by Robert Groden, and it has a foreword by Oliver Stone. I still haven't gotten the hang of, this type of computer stuff, so hang in there with me. I'm working on it. Now look at this one. It's another one by Robert Groden, and this one is a foreword by Cyril Wecht. For all of you people who watch Fox News, you are eminently familiar with Cyril Wecht. I never knew this book existed, and it certainly is an incredible book. And boy, does it have photographs in. Every single page photographs. If you've ever wanted to know anything about Lee Harvey Oswald, this is the book for you. Of course, who knows if any of these things in any of these books are accurate, because the truth of the Kennedy assassination, I don't believe, has ever been told. But maybe with all of these books, you can probably get an idea of what the real story is. So let's just continue. This is one that I just think would be great. The Mafia, CIA, and George Bush. It's by Pete Bruton, and I'm very familiar with Pete's work going all the way back to the late 80s and actually the mid-80s. He was part of the group that our October Surprise group was working with. So I would imagine that this is a great book, and in my opinion, George Bush is probably the #1 person responsible for the assassination of JFK, even though LBJ was the one that gained the most from it and probably did have a lot to do with it. But I personally think that the man who ordered it was George Herbert Walker Bush, or the man who followed the orders and carried them out for the CIA. Who ordered it? More than likely the 300 families that own the Federal Reserve, because he was really going to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Okay. Now let's look at this one. I've never heard of this one. I've heard of most of them. My God, I'm hit. Investigating the Kennedy incident on Elm Street from the Diagonal. And this is by Brian David Anderson. And I think I know that man, but I'm not really sure. But I think I do know him. Now, look at this. Crossfire. Our friend Jim Mars put that one out. And it is excellent. I haven't read all of that one, but I have read part of it. Now, Killing the Truth. Deceit and Deception in the JFK case. Killing the Truth. Killing the Truth. So you can begin to get an idea of what we've got here. Look at this. The Man Who Knew Too Much. Yes. It's by Dick Russell. And oh my gosh, you can see how big a book it is. Look at that. Definitely a large book. Now this one looks good. Lee Harvey Oswald, Presumed Guilty. And this is about the author. And the author is Howard Rothman. So Presumed Guilty. Let's see, what year was this one printed in? It looks like an old one. Sold for $12 when it sold originally. And it was released in, excuse me, I can't see. It was released in 1975. So this is 1975. Deadly Secrets. Deadly Secrets. Now, this collection is, I'm not going to sell it off a book at a time because I really believe that it needs to go, you know, as a complete collection. And I'm going to start the bidding on it at $1,000 because there is easily $1,000 worth of books here. Reasonable Doubt. I mean, you can see the size of all of these things. They're absolutely incredible. It was a collection of one of the Rumor Mill News readers, and he sent it to us to auction off. And I am finally finding the time and the way of doing it. Before, I thought that I was going to have to photograph each book. Now I just do a video and I show you what we've got here. Okay, we've got 3 copies of Whitewash. So we've got 3 copies of that book. You can see the other 2 are down there, Whitewash. So we have 3 copies of Whitewash. And if you don't want all 3 of them, you can give them to friends of yours who also are JFK buffs. And this is A Texan Looks at Lyndon. A Texan Looks at Lyndon. I haven't looked at it, so I don't know what's in it, but it certainly does sound interesting. Now here's one that I know is true, the second Oswald, because my husband Gunter told me there was a second shooter, someone that looked identical to Oswald. And of course, those of you that have followed the Oklahoma bombing, Oklahoma Murrah building bombing, you know that there were 2 Timothy McVeighs. We saw the other one in a home video of some kind of, I think it was ATF agents. And so there is an identical twin to Timothy McVeigh. When they set someone up like this, they usually have another one, you know, sort of waiting in the wings just in case the first one somehow gets off for some reason, has an alibi. And this is the assassination chain. And now look who it's by. It's by Sybil Leek. You know, she's the psychic. And it's by Bert Sugar. I don't know who he is. But I bet this is really an amazing book. Whoever buys these will have to read it and write a review for us. Okay, let me just see what else we've got. Oh, look, here's another Whitewash. This looks like an updated version of Whitewash. The FBI Secret Service cover-up. Boy, that sounds like a great book. Now look at this one. Marina and Lee. Now, how many times I have asked questions about Marina. How much did she know? What did she know? Was she just a arm piece? Was she just, you know, was she the patsy that was there at the right time? It'll be interesting to know. It was written by Priscilla Johnson Macmillan, and I guess that's Priscilla. Maybe that's, I don't know who those women are on the back, but I'm sure that's going to be one heck of a book to read. And here's one, if I ever had a question, it would be the title of this book, What Really Happened to JFK? 501 Questions and Answers. And it's by Joan Hubbard Burrell. And again, that's a really familiar name to me. Don't know why I know her, but I think I do know her. Okay, I'm not quite sure why this one is in there, but it's called The Honorable Mr. Nixon. And since it was sent with the JFK collection, it must have something to do with the JFK collection. Okay, here's one. I'm sure everybody's wanted to have that title for their book. The Truth About the Assassination. Let me tell you, until the CIA really releases the files, and of course you now know the CIA is actually a private corporation owned and controlled by George Herbert Walker Bush. Why do you think it's now named the George Herbert Walker Bush Building or whatever it is? No longer Langley. I don't know how long the CIA has been privatized, but it is privatized, and it now 100% works for the bankers and the big oil. As far as I know, it didn't when my husband was part of it, but then again, it could have. Here's one. George O'Toole, The Assassination Tapes, an electronic probe into the murder of John F. Kennedy and the Dallas cover-up. The Dallas cover-up, that's what it is. Well, remember who's controlled Texas for a very long time. It's spelled OIL, and that's where the Bushes made their money, in OIL. This is called Counterplot. What a great title for a book. And it's by Edward J. Epstein. And it is Garrison versus Oswald, Garrison versus Ferry, Garrison versus Shaw, Garrison versus the Warren Commission, Garrison versus the FBI, Garrison versus the CIA, Garrison versus the media, and Garrison versus the establishment. Incredible. Here's another version of Whitewash. I think that these are different printings, and it looks like they get bigger each time. Okay, Project Seek. Ooh, doesn't this sound good? Ooh, I may read this before I send it out. Project Seek, Onassis Kennedy and the Gemstone Thesis. This is by Gerald A. Carroll. Now, the Gemstone file was released by a rumor mill news agent. I've got a copy of it. Just go take a look at the Gemstone files on Amazon. And she actually got the files from the man who wrote them down and kept them. I'm not sure what this is, but it certainly does sound interesting. Okay, A Mother in History. 3 Incredible Days with Lee Harvey Oswald's Mother. Now, remember, I was married to a CIA operative, and the one thing that he told me about Lee Harvey Oswald and the family is that they are a CIA family. So I don't know how true this is, but I don't know. I can't tell you. CIA families are created at Langley, and they've got a mother and a father and sisters and brothers, and they've got all the school records and all the school, friends and this sort of thing. And what it is all about is when a CIA operative gets in trouble or gets killed or something, they can trot out his family to tell the world the whole story about what really was going on with this person. Like, he was a psychopath, he was crazy, he was always into this, he was a communist, blah, 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 blah. Now, Gunter firmly believed that Lee Harvey Oswald's family was a CIA family. I don't know, I can't tell you. All I can tell you is what he told me. Open Case. The omissions, distortions, and falsifications of Case Closed. Yeah, we need to open the case. Now, when Melinda Pillsbury Foster gets elected president, she's going to open the case. We're going to know the truth about all of the assassinations and the UFOs and disclosure and all of this. So go to Pillsbury-Foster for president.com and vote for her. Even if she's not on your ballot, vote for her. Okay, here's another one. Codenamed Zorro. This is Mark Lane and Dick Gregory. Most of the work that Mark Lane does is quite excellent. And this is Rush to Judgment. Rush to Judgment. Here's the impeachment of Richard Nixon. As I said, if this came in the JFK file, there must be a reason for it. The assassination of President Kennedy and the new evidence of conspiracy, high treason. And this also, John F. Kennedy's murder, our government's secret, a nation's betrayal. This is Robert Groden and Harrison Edward Livingston. A Citizen's Dissent, Mark Lane Replies. The new book by the author of the #1 bestseller Rush to Judgment. And this is A Heritage of Stone. This is by Jim Garrison. This book might be worth it, worth the $1,000 right here. Okay, this is called They Killed the President. 12 years is a long time to have buried the truth. Well, you can tell when that one was written. Cover's quite a mess. The Search for the Murderers of John F. Kennedy by Robert, I can't read the name. Looks like Samkeson. 12 years. How long's it been now? 63 to, what will it be, 50 years next year? I think so. Okay, Conspiracy, Cover-Ups, and Crimes. The CIA and the Cult of Intelligence. Cult of Intelligence, yeah. See that symbol right there? I've got one of those secret documents that was faxed to me right after Princess Diana was murdered. And it had that logo on it, this very logo. And when I started putting it out, people told me that I was crazy. The CIA never had that kind of logo. Well, there it is, guys, and I'm not the only one who says the CIA had that logo. Okay, Assassination of JFK, by coincidence or conspiracy? Boy, there has been a real, what should I say, an industry around the assassination of JFK. This one is Farewell, America by James Hepburn. That sounds like a good one. This one is Legend, The Secret World of Lee Harvey Oswald. This one is, oh my God, almost too big for me to pick up. This one is Bloody Treason, The Assassination of John F. Kennedy by Noel Twyman. This one is Plausible Denial. Was the CIA involved in the assassination of JFK? Oh, how could anybody ask such a question? Our CIA? Those nice little boys. Oh, that's by Mark Lane, bestseller. Here's Harrison Edward Livingston, by the author of High Treason 2, Killing Kennedy and the Hoax of the Century. Yeah, let me tell you, the hoax of the century. You know, it's amazing what people fall for. I mean, they fall for two towers falling down because they were hit by airplanes, even though there is every bit of evidence that they were dropped in their footprint either by some sort of super califragilistic new machine or simply by demolition. I mean, there's no way that two airplanes and jet fuel could have taken those down. But look at this. Look at this. The hoax. Ever since they killed Kennedy and the people didn't revolt, they've been doing one thing worse after another, after another, after another. LBJ gets in power and immediately fakes, the harbor, can't remember the name of the harbor over in Vietnam, but fakes the whole the whole impetus that put us into real war there in Vietnam. And of course, JFK would have pulled us out. And of course, all of the people made all of the money off the war industry. They wouldn't have made the money, would they have? This one is called High Treason 2, and it's the great cover-up, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, and it is by Harrison Edward Livingston. Wow. We're going to keep on going. $1,000 starts this bid. This is Destiny Betrayed, JFK, Cuba, and the Garrison Case. Now we have Mortal Error, The Shot That Killed JFK. Who is that by? That's by Bonaire Mininger. Looks like Mininger. Yeah. Bonaire Mininger. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I certainly don't want to make a mistake of that name. Never Again. This is by Harold Weisberg. Never Again. Well, how many other people are going to be assassinated? How many others are going to be killed and murdered? Because we as a nation will not stand up and get the truth about what happened to our president. What happened to JFK? It was a cover-up. It is now almost 50 years later, and the cover-up is still in place. Cover-ups on cover-ups. This is called November Patriots, The Murder of John F. Kennedy. It's by Constance Kreitzberg and Larry Hanrock. I have heard of this book, but I have not read it. But from the title of it, it sounds like they are going to point at a right-wing conspiracy to get rid of him. Why is it that the left always points to right-wing conspiracies and the right always points to left-wing conspiracies when you and I know that it is the bankers, the corporatists, the Committee of 300, these New World Order people that control the world, they keep the left and the right divided so that they can keep playing their games. As long as the left and the right are fighting each other, it doesn't matter what they do, because nobody will ever know. Okay, 9/11, The Big Lie. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know that this book was in here. But you see, the JFK hoax was the big lie. Now we've got a lie even bigger than the JFK. Now, you know, I was just going to say, because what this lie did was put us in war in Iraq and Afghanistan. But what the Kennedy killing did was put us in war in Vietnam, where we lost 50,000 of our men. So which is worse? The 9/11 and the big lie? Was that worse? How many have we lost so far? 3,000 that day. Maybe 2,000 in Iraq. How many have we lost in Afghanistan? I don't know. So anyway, this one is part of the books that were donated. Kill Zone. I know Craig Roberts. I should have him on the radio show. If anybody knows his address, telephone number, get him in touch with me. Here's Whitewash 4. Look at this. Whitewash 4. Wonderful. And here is JFK versus the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency's assassination of the president. Well, here's someone that actually does believe that that's those sweet little boys over there in the CIA. Oh, and girls too, because girls are now a very big part of the CIA. And so those sweet little people over there in what used to be called Langley, what is now called George Herbert Walker Bush Central, somebody is blaming them. Somebody's actually written a book blaming them. Wow. Okay, 4 days. That sort of looks like something that was put out by, Reader's Digest, but it's the historical record of the death of President Kennedy, compiled by the United Press International and the American Heritage magazine. Well, UPI, UPI used to be a good organization until Reverend Sun Moon bought it. Does anybody know if he still owns it? I don't know. Okay, here is On the Trail of the Assassins. The Hot Zone. Oh, there's a book there underneath the Hot Zone, which is called Inquest. Inquest. This one is RFK Must Die. Well, of course he must die, because if he had been elected president, he would have investigated the death of his brother, and he would have hung everybody that was responsible for it. And a journalistic bombshell, startling new evidence about the JFK and RFK deaths, legacy of doubt. Oh, here's the downing of TWA Flight 800 by James Sanders. This is the official version of what went out. In other words, I will send this to you, and if you have a fireplace, you can use this one to start the fires with, because I doubt if there's any truth in it at all. The Kennedy Conspiracy. The truth a definitive account of the assassination, including the parts left out of Oliver Stone's controversial movie. Yes. Another version of whitewash. Remember, you can have all of these versions of whitewash. And now we've got H.R. Haldeman, The Ends of Power. Again, I'm not quite sure why this one is part of it. We've got a few more over here, as you can see. This is the last of them. We've got accessories after the fact. Accessories after the fact. And look, here's the first hardcover. Now, what is this one? Got to get it right side up. Can't read it. Sorry, got to put the glasses on. The highlights of hearings before the Warren Commission on the assassination of President Kennedy. This is the witnesses part. The witnesses part. I would imagine that this alone is probably what? Selling for $50 on Amazon. Orders to Kill by William F. Pepper, with a new foreword by Dexter Scott King. Update on eyewitnesses. Reports names the actual assassin. Well, whoever gets this, please read it and report back to us with the name of the actual assassin. Here's another version of whitewash. We've got quite a number of those. And this one is called Post-Mortem. The JFK assassination cover-up smashed. Again, whoever buys it can do a nice book report on it and tell all of us so we don't have to read it. Of course, that's what happens these days. Nobody reads anything. 6 seconds in Dallas. 6 seconds in Dallas. Let's see what this is. Oh, look at this. Look at this. This is the grassy knoll, the path the motorcade took. And when was this one published? Because it looks like an old one. Got to bring the glasses. Oh, 1967. Wow. This was only a few years after, after the actual assassination. And so this one may have some truth in. You know, the closer a book is written to the time that it actually happens, the more truth you probably are going to get from the book. Okay, let's see which other ones we have. Frame Up. Oh, this is the Martin Luther King, James Earl Ray case. And of course, all of you know James Earl Ray didn't kill him. Even right before James Earl Ray died, most people believed that he was not the assassin. And I don't know who the assassin was. Maybe somebody will read that book and tell us. Okay, this is the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy. The Conspiracy and Cover-Up, and it is by somebody whose name I can't see. Maybe you can see it there. But the way that it's written on the page, it's just impossible for me to see. Okay, now, whoever buys these, remember, $1,000 is the starting price. But look what else you are going to get. Look at this. Kennedy assassination. Johnson takes oath. Suspect held for murder of president. Now look at the date up here. You can see it's the Cleveland Plain Dealer. And where's the date? Can't even see the date. Well, back with the glasses. There it is right there. This is an original. An original. I don't think that it has ever even been unfurled. But I will show you one of the things that is in it. See? Okay, so that is one of them. Here's another one. This one is November. This is 6 o'clock on April 1st, 2012. But this newspaper is dated November 25th, 1963. Look at this. As I said, you can tell that they've never even been opened. They're dusty, but they're in excellent shape. I mean, I have no idea what this would sell for, but whoever is getting the books could probably put this up on eBay and get, I don't know, $100, $200 for it. I just don't know. There's a number of things that went with, with this. I've never looked at them. I'm not really sure why. Here's one about Stokes will win. He was the first black mayor of Cincinnati. And here's Stokes spurns lame duck Rowell. So there's some good historical articles here. And I have no idea what this is, but this was part of it. And that is Stokes. I guess that's his mother that is with him. And I won't endorse a racist. And that is Stokes. And that says, there is something about the way you act when you know you're right. You walk a little firmer, stand a little straighter, and speak with a conviction born of confidence, conceived in truth. That's the way Louis Stokes, Democrat, appeared when he entered the Lancer restaurant last Friday night. He walked briskly through the crowd to the upstairs meeting room. There he put his prestige and his career on the line. I am on the ballot this November as a Democrat, he began, and being re-elected is not as important as being a man. Where are the men? Where are the politicians who would say such a thing? He continued, when my stand is against the public interest, I expect the people to take me out of office. When I am right, I also, and rightfully so, expect them to ratify my thinking and retain me in office. Congressman Stokes briefly outlined the inner conflict that occurred when the 21st District Caucus endorsed 3 members of the Democratic Party. These are racists, said Stokes. Albert Porter, John T. Corrigan, and Charlie Laurie are racists, and I'm not going to endorse racists for anybody. Whoever buys this gets to read the rest of the article. So anyway, that's what we've got. I'm going to be putting this video up online as soon as I figure out how to do it. For some reason, my computer has crashed. I can record them, but I can't upload them anymore. So anyway, as soon as I figure out how to get them uploaded, we will, everybody will see this video. It's a half hour. Hopefully, YouTube will allow me to upload it. So I'm going to sign off for now. This is Raylan. I'm the publisher of RumorMillNews.com, and get on over to our auction. I've already had my first bid on the first necklace that I put up. Oh, and this is another necklace that I will be selling soon too. There you can see how it fits. And it has earrings to match. I will soon have that up. And it is, not only is it onyx, but many of the pieces are faceted. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the auction. Bye-bye.